What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here tonight. And tonight, we're going to talk about how to get to our $1,000 days in a pressure washing business in 2025. Now, I know some people might think that's crazy, and I understand that. Some people are like, yeah, we do that. No problem. We do $2,000 or $3,000 a day. And so I just want to break down today of how do we get to $1,000 a day in a pressure washing business. Is it possible? Can you do it? What are some things that you have to do to be able to get there? Now, what I will say is it's not easy, right? It takes work. You have to do the thing to be able to make this happen. And so these are things of what we're going to have to do to be able to get to it in the first place. And so what made me think about this conversation is I had seen my good friend Jeremy post a post that how he got started in the pressure washing business was by watching a video. Actually, it was my good friend Savannah, Andrew and Savannah, of how they were able to start a pressure washing business doing $1,000 a day. And so that got me thinking of that worked 5 years ago, and it still works today. And so these are the things that you have to do to be able to get there in the end of this. And it's not always easy. It's not always fun, but it definitely can be done. So with that, one of the biggest things that I think will help you get there, the book of the week, I've pushed this book a lot. There's a reason why I push this book a lot, because a lot of people don't believe in yourself, and this is a book that will help you to believe in yourself. And so my book of the week is Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is a great book. It is an awesome book. It helps you with your mindset and how you think and how you believe and what you think and what you believe. And so this is the reason why I am giving you this book for, again, this week of Think and Grow Rich, because in this episode of how we grow a business, it really does have a lot to do with how we believe, what we think, if we worried about our competition, blah, 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 blah. And so that is what we are going to hit on tonight. Again, I'm excited. We had a good weekend this weekend. My daughter, she plays soccer. She tore her ACL last December, and in last December she hasn't played a game all year, and so she played one little scrimmage on Tuesday night. That was the first time she's played in game settings, and then yesterday she played again. In another scrimmage. So that has been a long journey. If anybody's torn an ACL, if you know that pain, if you know what that is going through that, it's been 13 months of a long recovery. And so I'm really proud of her. And so that's what I did yesterday is we went there. Also, another good thing that's happening right now is it's not cold. Well, it's not as cold. It hit up in almost 60 degrees today. I looked out and I'm starting to see green grass, which that's good and promising. I know it's still a little early. I know it's only February, but we're just around the corner of starting pressure washing business. And so there is some things that we can do here now to get ready for our pressure washing business. But these are some neat things that are coming up. So with that, what have you all been doing this weekend? I'd be interested to hear. How are you all doing out there? And so those are some crazy things that has happened this week here. But the snow is finally melted, and I am excited about that. I'm tired of the snow. I'm ready for wintertime to be over. I live in Idaho. It's winter, and what's the best way to start with no money? Well, start marketing. That is the best way to do the starting with no money. I did a video last week or the week before talking about how to start with at least $2,000. You could get it down to $1,000. And so my goal for you would be to start selling and learning how to get those customers coming in. You can always rent your equipment if you need to be able to get started. It is something that you could do. It's not what I would like to do, but sometimes you just got to get started. You can go on Craigslist, you can go on Facebook, you can find some pretty decent rigs there, pretty cheap, that you can probably negotiate with them and talk them down even more. And so those are some things that I would recommend you to do. Mr. Wowzer Cleaning here from Orange County, California, on the other side of the countryside. Um, Mike, are you? Was you the one talking about the going to social media marketing world? I have Mr. Rick Moosey, big time in the house. How are you doing? Hey, Jason, what's up? I'm stressing real hard as I'm heading down to Atlanta to start our second location while I put a solid lid in place to run my Charlotte market. Um, started I started it in August. Wow, awesome, 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 awesome. There ain't no use stressing about it. What's worse can happen, right? Just go out there, and how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You figure out what you do and how to get through it, and that's your best option to be able to get through it, right? Put systems in place. Systems are key. Systems is definitely something, as if you start doing it, you got to have different systems. You got to have the systems for your, how to wash. I give you the checklist for a reason, so that way you can say, hey, let's keep this checklist so we don't wash it the same every time. And so, it's getting done. You got your pictures. That's another system of how are they taking their pictures, how they answering the phone, all of those awesome things that you have to do to be able to make sure that you have your systems in place, because whatever your systems suck at, and when you're small and you're one person, when you get bigger, they don't go away. They just get bigger. You just put a magnifying glass on it and they get bigger, and you're like, oh crap, that little thing that I kept pesting around and I didn't get it done then, it just keeps growing and get bigger as the bigger you get. So it's definitely something that you have to grab it by the horns and just go with it. We got Mr. David Hamill in the house. It's go time. It's getting there, isn't it? It's the sun's shining. It's 60 degrees here this week. It's supposed to be. The grass is starting to turn green. It'll be a little bit, but it's definitely getting there for sure. Yes, I won from Marketing World, and I already purchased the VIP ticket, so I'll see you there. Awesome. So definitely have to find me. It is pretty big. That is amazing. Definitely go find me, and I will hook up and we can go eat dinner or something. So that it'll be fun to do. It is a great time. All righty. So my good friend, the person that I was talking about, what I was originally thinking, that the person that had told me about about how they started a business and how they actually got started in the pressure washing business, I thought it was Jeremy and Jace, or Jeremy and Jennifer, but it was actually Andrew and Savannah, because he had posted it in the Facebook group about how he had seen a video talking about how to make $1,000 a day. And that was one of my videos from 5 years ago when he had seen that. Now, they both are doing well better than that. Jeremy hit $200,000 months for pressure washing, or maybe close to $100,000 months in pressure washing. And then they hit a $200,000 or $300,000 in Christmas lights this past year. And so they actually did over $1 million this year. And so Andrew and Savannah, they've hit $100,000 months. They've also done it. And so the common denominator, that as I look out here and as I seen, and as I've helped both of them grow, and Jeremy and them, I've coached them quite a bit. And as I've watched the things that help people get there, is really overcoming your mindset, right? Jeremy, when he started, he was literally a garbage man. He was on the back of a garbage truck throwing garbage in a garbage truck, right? And so he was able to get off the garbage truck, start a business, and there has been some things that has forced him, has actually helped him grow. And so as soon as he got off the garbage truck, starting his full-time pressure washing business, one thing happened to him. His hip went out on him. And so he had to get a hip replacement the next year. And so he had to hire someone to be able to do that, which in the time he was kind of scared about that, right? He was a little worried about it, but it was one of the best things that happened to him, because it forced him to get off the truck and to hire people. And that has been one of the things that has helped him grow to where he is now. Now, when he started, he was just like you guys. I had met him before, but where I really met him was he came to one of my classes at Christmas lights. It was one of my first Christmas light classes that I did, and he was there, and him and Jennifer came down, and I had a picture, but I don't know where it went to now. I was going to try to pull it up here, but I guess I don't know where it went. I got too many screens open. So Jeremy and Jennifer were there, and when we talked to them, it was awesome to see. There we go. I found it. So Jeremy and Jennifer, this is Jeremy right here. One of the first classes that he did. I was up in Cleveland, Ohio. And so I always tell people, if you do half what I tell you in my Christmas lights, you will make $30,000 to $50,000. Now I actually tell you can make up to $100,000. I've had several people come to my Christmas light classes, and they made over $100,000 their first year. And when he left in 2020, he looked at Jennifer and said, "Jason is crazy." And it's not been the first time I've been told I was crazy, but he literally told Jennifer that Jason is crazy. And so when they were leaving, he was like, "There's no way we can do $30,000 in Christmas lights our first year." And so what he found out is he actually did like $33,000 his first year in Christmas lights. And so he was already pressure washing at this point, and he added Christmas lights. Now, how do you get to $1,000 a day in pressure washing? Well, here are some steps that we have to look at. First thing we got to do is what is an average ticket? So an average ticket is we take how many ever jobs we have and we divide it by how much money we are making. So if I want to do $10,000, let's just say I want to do $20,000 a month, right? $20,000 a month. So $20,000 a month is a lot, but that's our $1,000 a day, right? So if we do $1,000 a day, 20 days, that's $20,000 a month. So how do we get to a $20,000 a month? Well, one of the things is how do we get our average ticket to where we can do $1,000? Now, when I was on my truck, we actually made my trucks do $1,500 a day when I had 4 trucks running. So how do we do $1,000? Well, one is how do we get our average ticket up, right? So if you're just starting out and you're saying Miss Jones calls in and she says, "How much for a house wash?" And you're like, "It is $199 for a house wash." It's going to be really hard to get to $1,000 a day. In fact, I would almost say it's going to be impossible, because that means you got to do 5 house washes in one day, which is not very easy to do. So one of the things you will also find out is when you're doing house washes for $199, those customers usually aren't the customers that you want. So what do you got to do to be able to get there? Well, we got to raise our prices, right? You know, I tell people to charge 25 to 35, 40 cents per square foot of per job. And I know people are going to tell me I'm crazy, and there's no way you can get that in my area. Again, Think and Grow Rich, read, right? Change your mindset. Quit selling on competitive prices of your competitors, because most of your competitors are going to go out of business. Jason just sent me, Hefner just sent me one that said $299 or $399 a year, and you get 3 house washes and all kinds of stuff. That's going out of business as fast as they're coming into business. And I get it, there's competition, but guess what? As much as people think as competition is coming into this business, guess what? There's just that much going out of business, because we all know that when a small business starts, the success rate is like 50% are not going to make it, right? And we also know the 80-20 rule. 80% of people are going to fail. I don't want you to fail, but a lot of people are going to fail. Why do they fail? Because they don't know how to do marketing. They don't know how to answer the phone. They don't know how to do a lot of things. They can be great people at the craft. They can be the best pressure washer out there. They can be the most amazing pressure washer. He makes sure he never has not one callback. He is just so amazing pressure washer. But if nobody knows that he's out there and he's not doing anything to do that, that ain't going to get you very far. That's going to get you out of business really, really fast, right? You're going to go out of business so fast it ain't funny. And so these are some things that you really got to look at is how do we get our average ticket up? So our average ticket, right? I want your average ticket to be anywhere from 500 to 1,500. I've got guys that had an average ticket of $2,000, right? And so as Rick put here, look, my minimum is $650 for a house wash. Now, what he's not telling you is 3 years ago, he was the $199, $200 guy. And what he also will tell you is he did twice as much work and made half the amount of money. And so when you shift your mindset and when you shift the way you start thinking and the way you start believing, things will happen and things will be a lot better for you. And so these are the things that you have to really look at when you're trying to get to $1,000 a day. Is it easier to get to $1,000 a day when your average ticket is 700 or 200? I promise you, it's a lot easier to get 2 jobs at $700, which means you'll be at $1,400 versus $200. That means you got to get 5 jobs to get there, right? And so these are the things that you really got to start thinking about and start going after. You got to start believing in it. You got to start building value. You got to start building packages. These are all things. If Miss Jones calls you and says, hey, I need a house wash, and you're like $199 and you don't give them a $1,000 option, guess how much money you're going to make? $199. But guess what happens if you offer them a $1,000, $1,500 package? Then you're likely to get a $1,000 or $800 package versus the $299 that you did, right? So yes, your house washes might start off at $400 or $500. And yes, you might just offer that, but we're also going to offer them a $200 exterior window cleaning, a $300 garage clean, or a concrete cleaning, right? We're going to offer a gutter clean out. We're going to offer them all kinds of stuff. We're going to offer them whatever they want. So then that, or whatever they don't know they need. So then that way, when we get there, we got our average ticket up. And that is our goal of how we get our average ticket up. It's not just about doing house washes. You know, roof cleaning. When they call for a roof cleaning, we're going to sell them a house wash. We're going to sell them an exterior window cleaning. We're going to sell them a concrete cleaning job. And now we just took the roof cleaning. That's $800, $900, $1,000. And we made that a $2,000 package, right? Here's your $2,000 package. Now, here's the thing. When we're talking about this, we're not talking about 1,000 square foot houses either, because most 1,000 square foot houses are probably not your customer, because they're too small and they probably ain't got the money that you're looking for them to spend. So, you know, our honey holes, our sweet spot for us when we were in business was around the 22 to 2,600 square foot house. Them were our honey hole houses. Those are the houses we want. So when I'm charging 36 or 30 cents a square foot for a 2,500 square foot house, now you can see how I'm getting my average ticket up. When they do the roof cleaning and we're charging 40 to 50 cents a square foot, now you can see how we're getting our average ticket up. And we're charging 11, 12 cents a square foot for exterior window cleaning with a $150 minimum, $175 minimum. Now you can see how we're getting our average ticket up, and you get $1,000 real easy, right? DJ's last year, his average ticket was like $980. And so he did very well. He made over $250,000 and didn't do a whole lot, right? He worked part-time just about. And so it can happen when you do this. Come on, let's go to $2,000. I agree. I want to get to $2,000, and you can get to $2,000 a day, but some people I got to get to $1,000. So what do we got to do to get to $2,000? I'm glad you brought that up, Devin. How do we get to $2,000 an average ticket or an average day per truck, right? How do we get there? It's the same way. We just got to raise our prices, and then instead of getting 1 job at $1,000, you get 2 jobs at $1,000, right? And that's how we can do that. Or here's the other thing. Instead of offering $1,000 packages, you offer $3,000 packages. What? You offer a $3,000 package for pressure washing for just a spray and water? Amen, you can, right? You offer them the house wash, you offer them the driveway cleaning, you offer them a driveway sealing, you offer them a gutter cleaning, you offer them roof cleaning. And guess what? We just offered them a $3,000 package. And some people are in here are saying, Jason, you're freaking crazy. There's no way in my area going to pay for that. I got too much competition. I guarantee you I will hear that in the comments of this. But I promise you, there's people out there in your area. Because here's what happened. You don't charge enough and you go cheap, right? You're going to go cheap. You're going to be busy. You're going to have all this work and you're going to be so busy and you ain't got no money. Why don't you have any money? I'm busy. I'm working a lot. Guess what? Working a lot don't mean you're making money. And so what do you got to do, right? Because here's the thing. If your close rate's high, that's your number one say, oh, there's something wrong here. Because here's the thing. The people that will pay you a lot, you're not charging them a lot. And so they will pay you. You're just not asking for it. And when you're not asking for it, those are the ones that you're losing. And here's the other problem. You're worried about losing those cheap people. You can't worry about the cheap people. You got to remember, as my friend Dan says, every no is one closer to a step of a yes, right? It's a numbers game. Most of my people that I know that do this and they're doing it online, or some of them are, is their close rate's 30 to 40%. So that means I got to get 7 no's to get 3 yeses. So how can I get more no's? Well, let's go to the next part. Marketing, right? How are we getting the phone to ring? Because if you're not getting the phone to ring, then guess what? You're going to be struggling. And most people that I know struggle don't have nothing spent in marketing. They won't put a dime in marketing. Jason, that is stupid. I don't understand why you want me to spend 10%, 20% on marketing. That's just like pissing money away. And when you believe in it that way and not thinking that is an investment, right? I'm investing in my own business. 10% I'm investing, right? I'm just going to invest in my own business. 10%. That's marketing. And guess what? You can be like here, quoted an $8 million lake house at $15,000, right? Probably take 2 or 3 days and make $15,000. Who wants to do that? I would be all over that. And yes, you can do that. And I know sometimes people are, well, Jason, you just don't understand. I completely understand. You have a mindset problem. The reason why I want you all to read books like Think and Grow Rich is because I want you to change your mindset, right? You change your mindset, man, amazing things can happen to you. Here's another one. Change your mindset. Change the way you talk about yourself and others. Be positive, right? Get around positive people. Speak positive. Speak positivity in the very first thing in the morning. If you roll out of bed and be like, oh, I'm tired, this is terrible. Guess what? You just set the rest of your day as it's going to be a terrible day. Because you know who the number one competitor of you is? You in your mind telling you fear, right? Fear is the number one competitor that you should be worried about. You're worried about Joe Blow down the street when you should be worrying about you. That's who you should be worrying about, because your mind, when you don't change it, and I get it, it's hard. Hey, I grew up poor. I've showed you where I grew up. I grew up poor. It's hard to think positive. It's hard to think on a positive mindset and a abundance mindset, right? Everybody's worried about, everybody wants scarcity. Oh my God, nobody gonna buy my stuff, versus abundance mindset. Don't worry about the competitors. They ain't gonna change your business, because when you're worried about them and when you're worried about them and then they're working on their business, guess what? It is going to do amazing. Guess what? Your business is not going to do amazing because you're worried about over there. You're not worried about over here. As Savannah used to say, quit looking at their bobber. Look at your own bobber. Because when you're watching their bobber, your bobber's not doing nothing over here. So this is definitely something that you've got to do to be able to get there. 1, you got to do premium pricing. 2, you got to ask for it. And 3, you got to do marketing, right? Those are the 3 things. In marketing, that can be anything from yard signs. That can be anything from Google Ads, Facebook ads, SEO, Google local business service, Facebook. If you don't got no money, like the one guy said, he ain't got no money. I ain't got no money. Then guess what? You got Facebook. Go out there and do it. You know what? You can get on this thing right here and start posting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. And no, I'm not talking about posting about pressure washing. You're just posting 2, 3, 4 times a day about your life, and you're building an audience. You got 5,000 friends that are in your area, and you're just building an audience. And then when you start saying, hey, you need any pressure washing? I got this pressure washing. You start talking about it maybe once every other day. Guess what? People will start buying from you. You ain't got to spend nothing at that point. If you're broke, that's what you got to do. If you're broke and you can afford $350, go buy you 100 yard signs. Put pressure washing on it, nothing else, and a big phone number. I seen a sign the other day. It had 57 things on it. Guess what? You couldn't read one of them. Guess how many people I bet called that phone number? 0, right? Because you can't read it. Don't know what they do. They do everything. They got the everything butter, right? They just spread that stuff everywhere. But that stuff doesn't do you no good. Do one service, big phone number. That's all you want. Pressure washing, no house washing, nothing else. Pressure washing phone number. That's it. Nothing. That's literally all you got to put on there. Phone number and big pressure washing. And then the last thing you got to do to be able to get there is answer your phone. What, Jason? You got to answer your phone? Yeah. You know how many people I call and nobody answers the phone? It goes to voicemail. And here, I get it. And we're in 2025. AI is going to start answering the phone for a lot of people. And that is going to change some things up, because some of these yahoos that wasn't answering the phone are answering the phone but through AI. And it ain't so AI-ish anymore. It's hard to tell a lot of times if you do well, if it does it. I have a good friend in the flooring business, in the concrete flooring business of the concrete coverings. And he had 3 people book for floors yesterday, all through AI. He never answered one phone call. They booked him themselves the whole 9 yards. And so there is a lot of stuff that's coming AI-wise that it is crazy of what it is. If you don't think it's true, it is. I promise you. It's 100% true. And so it is definitely something that some of you are going to lose some business, because some people will do it. But you got to follow up with it, right? You got to go to the quote. You got to get a quote, whether it's in person, online. You got to go do it. You got to follow up with it. You got to make it happen. And so these are things that you have to do to be able to get past $1,000 a day, to get to $2,000 a day, to get to $4,000 a day, right? There's lots of competition. It ain't going nowhere away. But guess what? You don't need to worry about the competition. Jason, I love the people like, Jason, you can't get 20 cents down here. Have you asked? Yeah, I asked one time. What about the other 7, 8 times that you didn't ask, that you could have sold a job at a lot higher? Now, here, I get it. If you got to start out and start somewhere, then start somewhere. But, you know, some people always say, Jason, why do you always tell people to start out high? Because here's the thing. If you can't sell it at 20 cents, you probably can't sell it at 30 cents a square foot. So if I can start teaching you to sell it at 30 cents a square foot and you be successful at it, guess what? You're going to be able to keep moving, and you're going to be able to be profitable, and you can keep raising your prices. Because, you know, I used to always teach people to be at $300 an hour. But in 2025, we're probably going to have to be closer to the $400 an hour mark is where we really going to need to be at. And I know that's scary for a lot of people to believe that, but I'm just telling you, things are going up. I know people that have insurance, things are getting shut down their insurance. People's insurances are going up. Products probably going to go up. And so these are everything that you have to be able to keep yourself moving and growing and doing the things that you need to do. So with that, I'm going to scroll back up here because you all had some great stuff going on in here, and I want to read some of this great stuff. If you didn't know, I do have a training class coming up this week with Mr. Chris Johnson. He's amazing at sales. His average ticket was over $2,000 a day. He does a lot of in-person quoting, and so we will be teaching on that. He will be teaching on that. It's in Myrtle Beach Friday and Saturday. Sunday will be permanent lights. Friday will be all pressure washing. Saturday is all the marketing and sales. Me and Chris are doing it together. So if you want to go check it out, go to kpwtrain.com. He's amazing at the sales. He teaches on the love languages. He teaches on the DISC program. He will show you how to read people. He will talk to you how to read people so you know that you are able to sell better and sell at a higher price. Like I said, his average ticket is over $2,000 for pressure washing. When he goes, his close rate's around 50 to 52%. And so that is what you can be around and hear that and grow your business through that also. So go check that out. All righty. What's the best thing to start in pressure washing? Sidewalks, houses, or anything? I would probably do houses and sidewalks, because here's the thing. You can buy a pretty easy rig with a downstream. You can buy a 4 gallon a minute pressure washer, 4 or 5 gallon pressure washer. You can buy a downstream injector, buy you 200 feet of hose, pressure wash hose, buy you 100 feet of garden hose, and you can literally, if you can get in a surface cleaner with that system there, you can get it for probably $2,000 or $2,500 brand new. You could probably get it cheaper if you can find it used. And with that system there, you can do everything you need to do except roof cleaning. You can do house washing, driveway cleaning, deck cleaning. You can do it all with that system. So a pressure washer, a downstream injector, and some hose. And you don't even need the hose. You just need a pressure washer and a downstream injector, and it can get you done pretty well. Have sheer determination. You really want it bad. Hand out flyers all day after day until you get jobs, then over deliver on each job. Thank you every customer and ask for referrals and their 5-star reviews. You know, I've got my good friends up here in Dayton, Ohio, and they were both addicts, and they went to AA. They've gotten clean, and they started a pressure washing business. They were both working in a factory. And they were making $20 an hour. They quit cold turkey and they started door knocking, going door to door. The first year they made almost $60,000 knocking on doors. The second year they didn't have to knock so many doors because other things started working together. And so they've done $150,000, $200,000 in the last couple years. And so that's how you can do it. Back to what David says, sheer determination. I'm not going to fail, right? I'm going to go knock on 100 doors until I'm going to keep knocking on doors till I sell something. Now, one of the strategies that helped them out is they were going to all the dirty houses. They were going and finding the nastiest, dirtiest houses. And I told them, quit going to the dirty houses. Go to the clean houses. Those are the ones that you'll sell. And guess what? They started selling even more door knocking. So it works. I promise you, it works. If you want it to work, you got to get up and go do it. Raise those prices. Sucks when you only get a few calls a week. Hard to change top price. Guess that means I need to fill my pipeline up more. Absolutely. If you got to go door knocking, you got to go door knocking. You got to get on Facebook. You got to put some yard signs out. You got to do whatever you got to do to get the phone to ring. If you're not getting the phone to ring and just hoping and praying that you'll get the phone to ring, that don't work, right? Hope gets you nowhere. Hope doesn't do anything, because hope isn't something that is an action word. You take the E off and you start hopping around, and then you can go knocking on doors. You can start getting your pipeline full. So yes, your top prices can go up, because here's the problem with people is they don't get their pipeline filled. So when they do get a call, they're like, well, I better only be $199. And guess what? You'll never get out of that mindset. So how do you get out of that mindset? You got to make a goal. You know, a couple weeks ago in the marketing side, I talked about setting up a plan of, hey, the plan for the next 6 months, that, hey, I am going to write it down and I am going to put out 100 yard signs a month. I'm going to put out 25 yard signs a week, no matter what. No, I don't care if the phone rings or don't ring. I'm going to keep putting them out there. I'm going to put out 50 yard signs a week. I don't care if the phone rings or not. Every week, 50 yard signs are going out because, or hey, I'm going to post on Facebook 5 times a day. I don't care what it's about. I don't care how you do it, but 5 times a day, I'm going to post on Facebook. I'm going to put a picture. One of those will be a live, one of those will be a video, and 2 or 3 will be just posts. But this is what I'm going to do every day. For the next 6 months, write down what you're going to do there. I am going to write a Google Business profile post every day, right? I am going to post a picture in Google Business every day. Write it down so that it keeps you to it, because what happens is you'll get a little bit busy and then you go do jobs and then you quit doing that. So then you get the roller coaster, right? You get the roller coaster of, hey, we get busy, I quit marketing, and then I get dead. And then, oh crap, I get busy, and I get work, and then I die. And so that's what you kind of got to do to be able to make sure that you're staying on top of it. $650 for a house wash. I guarantee he is doing something else besides the house wash. I guarantee he is not doing something else besides the house wash. I will put money on it he's not doing something else besides the house wash. Because, see, that's the difference in mindset people thinking. That's his minimum charge. DJ's minimum charge for any house wash is $450. $450. That's his minimum. He ain't going out there for less than that. It's $650 for a house wash in the right neighborhood. They start at $800. $1,000 a day. Come on, let's do $2,000. And here's the thing about this. When you change your mindset, you'll be like Devin, right? Devin, when he first started, probably thought $1,000 is a lot. And here's the thing about Devin. Devin is young. If I remember right, Devin is really young. I can't remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure you're like in the teens. And so to be able to see that $1,000 is easy, right? You get past that $1,000, then you get $2,000, and then you get to $10,000 weeks, and then that's what's awesome about doing that. There is always a way. Absolutely quoted an $8 million house at $15,000 premium pricing. I did a house roof wash, window cleaning, and gutter cleaning for $4,500. It is doable. But you know what? You got to ask for it, because some people will do that house for $2,000 or $1,500 because they're scared to ask for it. I have 27 competitors, yet I am far the most expensive. Work smarter, not harder. 7 days a week, and you will thrive. And the average income here is $30,000 a year. Okay, so if the average is $30,000, then that means there are some people that are making $100,000 and some people are making $10,000, $15,000. So you got to go find out where the $100,000 is. You might have to drive some. You know, I had to drive. I was in Kentucky down here, but my honey hole was on the north side of Cincinnati. That has changed since then. But when I had my business, most of my business was an hour away from me. Why? Because that's where the money was. And I went up where the money was. I didn't want to sit here where the poor people are, because the poor people ain't going to pay you. I want to be where the rich people are. How beneficial is it to target newly built housing developments? Not very, because they need to have some green on them, or at least 2 or 3 years old, I would say. Upsell, upsell, upsell. Turn those $700 house washes into $2,000 jobs. Then you're at one location all day. No window shield times. Jason, you don't understand. I know, Rick. You seen what I just seen up there earlier. David Hamill, you do quotes in person and quote price in person. What's up, Mr. TCs? My wife made $6,700 in 6 hours last night at our plant shop with an online plant rare auction. I may retire pressure washing. You're going to have to get pretty, Barry, and make you start doing some more videos with her. In-person quotes, 100%. All in-person builds a much higher average ticket, and it's harder to say no to you in your face. If you don't close them, how many times you follow up with them? A bunch, a lot. You keep following up till they tell you to go pound salt. $300,000 year goal aiming target. Yard sign, door hangers, cold calls, leaving them business cards everywhere, shaking hands, shacking hands, networks, attending conventions, events. Good. I do the same. Sucks when you get the commitment right there, though. Then they follow. Then it's a follow-up game. Which one will you all be is pulling my signs? Yeah, that's stupid. Whoever's doing that. In order to go big and tall, you have to go deep and down. Well, I don't know if you're ever gonna get tall there. I don't know if you know that or not, but if you haven't seen Barry, I don't know if I can find a picture of me and Barry. He comes up to about right here to me. I feel like when they call and want an estimate, the quicker you get it out, the more chances of getting the job. Yeah, I agree. I use AI to answer the phone pretty good and gets them every time, more reliable than a person. Jeff, you are right. Don't give them a chance to a reason to look elsewhere. Send a quote within an hour of contact. Ups percentages nearly by 10%. Yeah, I agree with this. The faster you get it out, the faster you can get it done. And that's why I like the in person, because if I can get them in person or online and I can get them a quote in 20 minutes and talk to them and get it done, we can get it closed and signed and ready to go. You have to be everywhere. Blog, post, like, comment, network, never waste a single second of the day. If you ain't winning, you're losing. Everything is going up, up. More yard signs and door hangers will be here this week. Where'd that go at? Because well, I don't know where I lost off at. You got to get out on your own. It's not scary once you do it a couple times and close the deal. The only thing you're being beat by is your own mind, your own worst enemy. You know, and that is so true. You can beat yourself down so bad it ain't even funny. And unfortunately, it'll screw you every time. More yard signs and door hangers will be here next week. Yep, I love the yard signs. You got to get out of your own way. Good cement sealer at Lowe's? No. I just signed up a 200 RV soft wash and rinse twice a year for $300 each. All from 3 RV camper wash referrals. 200 camper soft wash and rinse times 300 plus that by 3. That's not too shabby. Exterior switch AI service. Do you use? Good call, AI. My pressure washer is $2,000. Always built my own rigs, ordered my first one, and will be done a month from now. 200,000 this year. Come on. 18,000 Midwest pressure washing 5-foot skid, 6 gallon per minute with a P40. Need the write off. So I drive a semi full time. I'm only home on weekends. What can I expect to make on weekends only as I can quit my job till it takes off? Have thought of washing trucks, semis? So you can do fleet washing. It is definitely a harder, it's a little bit more complicated because you got to use acid and bases. And so can two-step it. It is definitely, there is money to be made in it. There's not as much as a one-time go. And the other thing too is that every weekend when you're home, you're going to be washing those trucks. And so it is definitely something that you can do. It's kind of slows down out of wintertime a lot of times, but if you can get into places, that is something that you can do. You can wash houses on weekends. Like I had my good friend Dan, and they worked part time, and mostly weekends is when they were washing, and they did very well. The good thing about washing only on the weekends is people are outside, so they see you, so that's a good thing. And two, the other good thing about it is you have very limited schedule, so that means you can raise your prices to fill those spots, because you'd get 2 3 jobs, now you're a week or two out, so then you can kind of push your pricing a little bit higher by doing it that way. I normally don't even touch RV campers, but they'll take 200. Yep. I follow you for the last year, by the way. Thanks. um, Zach, truck washing only makes money if you don't mind working nights and can get large fleets to wash. 1 or 2 times will run you to death without money. Yeah, because a lot of those semis, they're doing them for like $20 a piece, $50 a piece, not much. $650 minimum is ridiculous. It has nothing to do with the mindset. His close rate has to be in the dumpster. It's like 45%, 40 or 45%. So if you think that's in the dumpster, then guess what? That wouldn't fly in the Midwest, maybe in New York. Again, change your mindset, dude. I get there. My close rate is 39%. See, I said 40%. I was 1% off. 39% and 650 is super impressive. What's your best lead generation? Signs, all yard signs. How many are you putting out? Thousands. Any of you all hire people to put out yard signs? How much you pay per sign? Yes, you do put out, yes, and you can pay anywhere from $1 to $2 per sign is what you do. Now, what I will tell you is go get an app called Simple Crew. Simple Crew is an app that's on your phone, and they will load it on their phone. And what happens is when they put the sign out, they take a picture of it. As soon as they take a picture of it, it will come up on a map on your computer or on your phone, and you will be able to see that that's been out there. So that's how you can make sure that they are putting out the signs. You can be like my friend down in Alabama, and the dude went and dumped them all out in the back of his pickup truck into a big field. And so if you don't want them dumped into a field and you want to pay for it, that's why you use Simple Crew. So Simple Crew will put a pic, you can take a picture of it right there. It'll show the picture of the yard sign, and then it will put a thing on the map, so then you can know right exactly where they are. So you can be like, hey, let's go put some out this way. And the good thing about that is then once you see all of the pins where your maps, where the pins are, then you'll start seeing where those phone calls start coming or not coming. So then you may need to move, like, hey, you know what? We're putting a lot of yard signs out here, but we're not getting a lot of calls there. So let's move them over here, because here we're getting a lot of calls and we're getting a lot of jobs for those yard signs. So Simple Crew is definitely something that is a good tool that will, when they put out the yard sign, they take a picture of it. It's not very expensive at all. I think it's like 15, 20 bucks a month, but it's worth it in the end. 50 to 60 a week for 8 months. The key is you cannot miss a week. You have to do it every week. Looking forward to rack up and this year. Let's go. Seriously, how do you keep your signs from getting pulled, and where are you putting them? He puts them everywhere and they get pulled. He's got a competitor pulling them, and he still puts them out, right? Because you can't worry about a competitor pulling your yard signs. Only thing I tell about people about competitors that are pulling your yard signs is karma's not fun, right? What goes around comes around. I did 25 a week last year and definitely increased that number this year. That's why you got to put them out every week. People do pull them. There's nothing you can do about it but keep on putting them out. Anthony, what size sign do you use? 12 by 18. I only put pressure washing. I would probably do 18 to 24. Go with the bigger ones. Signs are difficult in my area. Nearly all my towns have ordinances against them, and I got a lot of calls. Yep. Jason, Christmas light training near Michigan this year. I'll be having one in Cincinnati. I don't know yet. I might have one up there. I don't know yet. Well, new building can be very profitable actually because buildings are always looking for pressure washers to clean up after them. And you can do that, right? The new builders, you can go in, and we used to do a lot of cleanups. You got to charge for them because there's times they can be a pain in the butt. Warmed up enough to finally get 175 of our 215 Christmas lights down. How to finish so we can get back to crews washing daily. We have to get our 85,000 back to caught up. You know, and here's the thing about that. We just pulled the DJ disc. We went out the other day pulling the lights down this week because they've had ice and snow in it for so long. And there was a job up on the north side of Cincinnati. It was the farthest north job that we got up there to. And there was one little spot where the wire had got down into the gutter. And I was like, there's no way we're driving all the way back up here for this one job. So I'm sitting there working that piece of ice, and I hear it conking in the gutter up there. And when it comes out, it's like this chunk of big of ice chunk comes out, knocks on the siding. I was like, oh my God, that about busted the window. And then I pulled it down, and I was like, there's no way we're coming all the way back up here for this one job, for this one. But it was about 3-foot section that had ice just completely full in the gutter. So that was fun. But out of that, we went to, I think it was 8 or 9 jobs, and 3 of them we couldn't get down because they were just full of ice. There was nothing we can do. Is there another app like Simple Crew? Simple Crew has 3 stars. I don't know of any other. I mean, there is a couple ones, but that's the one that I like the best. Is 30 cents a square foot a good starting point? Yes. What's up, Jason Arden? I put out 1,200 Christmas light signs, just putting them up everywhere over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And when you do that, that's how you grow your business, right? You know, here's the thing, even like David Hamill, right? He does a lot of things. He has amazing SEO on his website. I guarantee he's doing AdWords, he's doing Facebook ads, and he's still putting up 1,200 yard signs. I can go show you another guy that's doing over $3-4 million a year. And guess what? He still puts out yard signs because they work. That's why they put them out. They work. Are they doing Google ads? Are they doing referrals? Are they doing all the things else? Yes, they're doing that because it works. And it's one of those things that you got to do everything to keep that phone ringing. It's all about how do you keep the phone ringing? That is your goal. If you quit doing things to keep that phone ringing, guess what? You're going to quit making business. And guess what? It's going to dry up pretty quick. And so that's why it is so important that you got to keep out there and keep hammering that nail of trying to keep the phone to keep it ringing. Because look, grew 44% on Christmas lights. And you know what the beautiful thing about Christmas lights is? Next year, 80% to 90% will guarantee come back. So that's 80 to 90% of people will come back next year. And that's the awesome thing about Christmas lights. So when you go out there and keep running it and keep growing it, guess what? It keeps making money over and over and over and over and over. And that is a beautiful thing out there. Again, if you didn't know, King of Pressure Wash, I have the 26 steps of perfect pressure washing in there. If you haven't joined the membership, I highly recommend it. You also get, I teach you the 26 steps of the perfect house wash in there. Make sure you know how to do that. Every Monday night, we go live with marketing. This past 2 or 3 weeks, we've been talking about LinkedIn and how to get LinkedIn, and all those recordings are still in there. We've talked about how to optimize your setup of LinkedIn. We talked about how to use Sales Navigator. We talked about, what else did we talk about? How to use it for commercial work. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about automating it. And so if you haven't done so, I'd highly recommend you go check out King of Pressure Wash. Again, for the price that you pay, I guarantee you the Monday night marketing is worth more than any of that. It's more of a mastermind. There's probably about 10 to 15 people that come every week that are making over six figures, multiple six figures, and they all help each other out and we all grow. And so it is definitely something that I would highly recommend you to do. Also, this weekend, we're having a training coming up in Myrtle Beach with Mr. Chris Johnson. He's an awesome dude that does a lot of sales, did a lot of the sales on the side of in-person training, or doing in-person quoting. And so this is the one training that when I do it with him is probably the best for the in-person quoting side of things, because he goes into it deep. I'm more of the online, he's more of the in-person. And so it's a great time that we kind of come together and we can argue together and kind of show each other's point. But at the end, it's how do you want to grow your business, right? Both ways work. It's all in how you want to do it, but it's just a way that we both do it differently. He grew, he was at 750,000. We grew to over $1 million. And so it's definitely one of those things that's just kind of flesh it out one way or the other. And so if you want to learn, I'd highly recommend you to check it out, sign up, get in there and we only have a few spots left anyway, but get in there. Advise on adding cement ceiling price per foot. So depending on what cement, if you're just doing like regular cement, it's $1 a square foot added on. So you're looking at, 30 cents to clean it and then $1 a square foot to do it. If you're talking about like, the other stuff, you can get up to $2 a square foot. If you're talking about paver sealing and sanding, you can be anywhere from $2 to $3 a foot is where you're going to be at in there. Has anybody ever complained about you putting out signs? Yes, they have. You just say, okay, 1,200 is crazy. Putting out 100 a week takes forever on a Saturday morning. That's why you hire somebody. David Hamill got a few of our previous customers' homes who were unhappy with your service. Well, good luck. You probably charge a lot cheaper because most people, that's why they don't like it. What would you start your pricing at a 54,000 square foot commercial building? It's 40 feet tall, car manufacturing plant. So with commercial, we do charge different. I would shoot for $3,000 to $4,000 a day. Figure out how long is it going to take you and shoot for $3,000 to $4,000 a day. If you have a gas roof pump, you won't need a lift or nothing. So that's kind of where I would be at for that. You can do it at like 10, 15 cents a square foot, kind of see where that comes out at for you too. If you don't complain about yard signs or flyers, you're not putting enough out, right? I agree with that. We do supply extension cords and Christmas lights. Love it. Another have some class. Why do you have to make comments like that? You're probably one of the ones pulling my sign. So average ticket is $1,400. I guarantee you that David Hamill's ticket is a lot higher than that. So that's all I have for tonight. I hope you all have a great week. Again, people always like, what do I do now? It's wintertime. This is an amazing time to keep working on your SEO side of things, working on your Google business side of things, putting up your pictures in your Google My Business, putting up, posting on your Google My Business every day. These are all things that will help you out. Set it up in some automation so that it automatically will do it. You can set it up for the whole year. And so these are things that you can do. These are also things that you will learn at the training if you're there. Hope you all have an amazing week. Other than that, we'll see you all later. I got to go work out in the morning with Jenna at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got to get up at 4:45 so I can go to the gym at 5 because she wants to work out and I've been wanting to work out. And so we've been doing it. But last week she hurt her knee a little bit. So she didn't work out a couple days. But that's why I got to get off here. Hope you all have a great week and I'll see you all later.